name is Gloria May. Today is December 5th, 1996. I am here to interview Robert Weiss, who is a survivor of the Nazi Holocaust. I am doing this interview under the auspices of the Holocaust Documentation and Education Center, Incorporated. The purpose of this interview is to add to the oral history of the Holocaust, so through this living memorial, future generations will know what happened. With this knowledge, we hope to prevent any such occurrence in the future. Thank you very much for being here. We're going to begin.
Thank you.
If you can tell me your full name, please.
Robert
And last name?
Weiss,
And when were you born?
1916,
What date?
February 6th,
And where were you born?
Ukraine, Kiev.
You were born in Kiev itself?
Yes.
About how big was Kiev at the time?
Oh, it was a big place. I remember I was 4 years there. Then I left. But I remember already. It's a big place.
Very big.
Yeah.
Do you know about what percentage of the population was Jewish at that time?
I cannot tell you percentage. There were some Jews there. Oh, yes.
Where did you go? You left when you were 4?
Yes. It was during the war still. After the war.
World War I.
One.
What were your parents' names?
Deborah and Max.
And do you have any brothers or sisters?
My brother he was killed in Estonia in a concentration camp.
He was older or younger than you?
I was older, 4 years.
4 years older. Just the 2 brothers there were in your family?
I did have one brother.
One brother. You and your brother, that was it?
Yes.
In the family. And how did your father earn his living?
He was a doctor.
Medical doctor?
Yes.
Can you tell me what life was like for you as a child?
Well, it was a bad time because it was after the war till from 16 to 20, it means during the war because the war ended, finished at 1918, no?
Was your father serving in the war?
He was a doctor and he somehow disappeared. We couldn't find him more during the war. He was lost. And we remained only with our mother.
And you stayed in Kiev?
Till 1920. And then we moved to Vilnius.
Did your father rejoin you at that time, 1920?
No, he was not. We didn't know where is he.
When did
He was lost.
When did he return? When did he return to the family?
He never returned.
Oh, he was lost.
Yes, never returned.
So how did your mother support the family?
Her parents did have some business in Vilnius, in Lithuania. You know, Vilnius, Lithuania. They did have some musical instruments, and there were left over very few of them, mostly pianos and pianoforte, how you say that, fortepiano. Pianoforte and pianos, yeah? And very few of them, it was only just very few, very little money. And she gave it for lending for the people, for monthly salary. They paid per month for these instruments. The people that were interested to play instruments, and so sometimes she bought one or sold one. Then she did have a concert fortepiano. You know, how do you say fortepiano? How do you say in English, in American? Pianoforte?
It's a
Big concert.
concert piano. It was a concert piano. It was a
But
large.
it's not a piano. It is fortepiano. A piano we call vertical one. What you have at home. Now the children, your children play. This is piano, but this is Forte piano
Is a grand piano?
yeah, yes, and it was a special for concerts, and the very famous people came to play in our house. They trained for concerts.
Did your mother teach as well?
No, she did not. She was very musical. I am not, but but they came to train at home, and then this piano was taken to the whole concert hall, and they played there. Yeah?
Did you play as a child?
No, I didn't play much. I play zither. You know zither?
Tell me what it is.
It's like arpa, like the instrument of King David. Harp. You know harp? The difference between harp has no resonance board. You understand what I mean? Harp has only strings, no, and frame. This has a resonance board. It's called zither. Maybe it has some other name. I don't know.
And were you going to school? Did you go to school?
In Vilnius.
Did you go to a public school?
I went to immediately to high school. They prepared me privately and made exams and stepped into the high school for 8 years. Eight years.
What did you train to be?
In the school, it was general school. It was a so-called humanistic school. It mostly was only Latin, no Greek, and mathematics and physics was not as high as special schools for that. It's called the humanistic school. But in general, it's a general, you get a general degree. Matura, we call it.
Can you remember any incidents of anti-Semitism that happened to your family before Hitler
Always.
came to power?
In Poland, I didn't feel it in my younger years. In the school, not much in high school, but I felt it. I knew that I'm Jewish, and from time to time. But it was not yet as bad. Well, but then in the last classes already there was the anti-Semitism was much increased.
Can you remember any particular incident?
For instance, you don't know Polish literature. There was Julian Tuwim, who was a very great writer, how do you say? Writes the books. And he was Jewish, Julian Tuwim. And practically, not practically, de facto, he constructed a modern Polish language. And he was also poetical and prose. And when and all the Polish intelligence and so on, they accepted him because he was really Polish, how they say, culture, yes? But when it came to read his verses in last classes, already protested the student, not the student, the schoolboys, but the last classes. They didn't let him read.
About what year was that?
Excuse me?
About what year was that?
Or it should be, I finished 36, 34. And then there were also individuals that tried with me, but it was not so bad because I could give back.
What happened? Do you remember what happened?
Oh, somebody maybe told me Jew or something like this and wanted to tear my, how do you say, backpack. How do you using the bookstore? They tore me a brand new one, and so there was a fight. But I felt quite good.
Did you win?
And the other, they did not. They didn't do any pogrom. and all the teacher and the director, they knew about it. And so it's not so bad. Very bad was in university. It was very bad because they decided to do the nationalists. Yes, it's called national democracy in Poland. They wanted us to not to have at all in university, but then they wanted that we sit in ghetto. It means on the left side. You don't know about, never heard about it?
I'd like you to tell me about it. I'd like you to tell me about it.
So when there were lectures, yeah, you come to the halls where the professor comes, reads his lecture. There was places like auditorium, auditorium, and they want us to sit on the left side. And we were fighting for a time. Then we gave up because we were only 10% of them. And then we stood as protest. And the whole my study, from the second year, I think, of medicine, I was standing. With all Jews who were standing. Because we didn't want to sit on the left side. That's the only thing we could do. And there was very bad time, and there were fighting, pogroms, and so in Vilnius. There's quite this year. I see something new. Okay, so it was very bad. It was, I will tell you, it was Nazi before Hitler came. I think that Hitler, he learned from Polish people, and he could transfer his hate to Germans, because many Germans, they didn't see any Jew at all. The Jews are very few in Germany. There were only 400,000 for 40 million. It's something 1% only.
You were training to be a doctor?
Yeah, later on, yes, in university. Yes, I studied medicine, yes.
Was it difficult to get in as a Jew?
Yes, very difficult, but my father was a doctor. So the Jews, there was numerous clauses. You know what is that? Yes?
Tell me in English.
It's Latin. Numerous, number. Clausus, closed number. It's called numerous clausus in Latin. It's international. And there were about 600 candidates, but then they were about 350, I think, students on the first year, and we were only 10 or 12. So it was very difficult. Yeah, I had the point that my father was a doctor. They took in consideration this, and I had very good marks in the school. So they accepted me. But most of my friends, my colleagues from the school, they were not accepted. Some of them went to Israel, some took another profession. It was very difficult. Medicine one of the worst to be accepted.
How long was the school? How long were you were you able to stay in the school?
How long did I study?
Did you complete your medical training?
Practically, I finished then in the last years in Lemberg, Lvov.
So what year was that?
Ukraine, because they closed university in Vilnius.
What year did they close in Vilnius?
39, it was a war. Yes, 39, 40. And then I finished my last year also in Ukraine, but it was already Soviets came to our part. Yes, there was agreement between Molotov and Ribbentrop, that the Poland was divided, Germans, and on the east were Russians. I was on the eastern part, so there were Russians already in university, but professors were still the same, Polish professors.
Okay, before we move ahead, let's back up just a little bit. What were you hearing about what was happening in Germany before the war started?
Yes, we knew that at first that there was the many Polish Jews were, how do you say, they were driven away. And there was some, I have forgotten the name, was one frontier between, a border place between Poland and Germany. Poland did have. So they put all Jews, Polish origin, out of Germany. This was about 39. Well, we knew, but not much. Not sure, not much. We knew the Nuremberg laws and that the Jews didn't have no rights or nothing, and they had to have a star or something like this. Now in Poland we were used for anti-Semitism, but it was very bad. The how do you say, information what we got was very bad.
Did you ever consider leaving before the war started?
Poland. I'm sorry, but I did not do that because my colleagues left, some of them to Israel. But I was not a Zionist. I was very much assimilated. You know what is assimilated?
How was your life different than a non-assimilated Jew?
Where you think?
In Poland.
As assimilated, they told me who I am. And they warned me, my colleagues, they told me always, they will tell you where is your place. And they told me that exactly. Because there was a time that we thought there may be some democracy in Poland. There was a called Pilsudski, it was a chief of, not president, Marshal Pilsudski. He was head of government, and he was a liberal one. So we believe, the Jews, that we can be Jewish religion and we can be Polish people. But it was nothing. They told us exactly who we are, foreign body and so.
Were you observant as a Jew?
No, I was not.
Did your mother keep the holidays?
My mother was completely agnostic. Not she was something against religion, against, but she believed only in one thing, that you have to say Kaddish. And she paid for religious people to say Kaddish for her parents. That was the only thing that she did. No Sabbath, or no, I didn't have no bar mitzvah, nor my brother too. We were, how do you say? I don't know how to say it. Maybe the God exists, but he doesn't interfere with our life. I think it today is the same. I'm sure he doesn't interfere, otherwise he wouldn't let do the things which happened.
Can you remember when the war started in 1939?
Oh yes, I remember, sure.
Tell me about what happened.
Directly 39, we were not attacked because when the Germans came to Warsaw, already they have divided Poland in two parts. So, and the Russian army came to us without shooting. There was no resistance at that time. And so they came, they didn't shoot. The Russians, I mean. The communists, okay, they came.
And what changed when the Russians got there?
There was negative and there was also positive.
What kinds of things?
Oh, I mean, our feeling was much better because we started to believe that communism maybe bring equality, but it did not.
Did you become a member of the Communist Party?
No, never, no.
Were you offered Russian citizenship?
No, they didn't offer anything. I think we did have a kind of a card, individual card, like not a passport, is a, how you call the identity card. Are they written? I don't remember the rules. They were holding this like occupied lands. They saw it's Soviet or everything, political, you know, propaganda, but administrative. You could not go free to Russia, to real Soviet Russia. You must have special permission. There was no traffic special, no tourism, no nothing. So there was wartime, but they did make this with Germans, and at the end, Germans, they attacked them.
Was anybody arrested or deported at this time? That
Oh
you know?
yes, the Jews were mostly the Jews who told that they want to go to the western part of Poland, because if you have your relatives or others, so if they only mentioned that they won't go on the other side, they were deported to Siberia. And then they deported Siberia at random. Nobody knew why or who and what. I know they didn't deport me because I was a student. So I don't know. I saw them, they coming there in Cavadel. It's, you know, the police, political police, Russian. They came to our student house. They looked for some, they did have some lists, probably the people who, because they proposed as goodwill, they let the people go if they want to go to Warsaw, to the, and who noticed himself, they came at night, they took him and they sent him to Siberia somewhere. But they didn't take me. I was studying, I finished, and I started to work.
When did you change schools? When was it that you changed? You said you changed schools and you completed at another school?
If I change what?
Schools. You said you changed medical schools and you finished in another.
Oh, yes, it was 39.
In 39? About what month?
Oh, end.
In the end of 39 in the winter?
I think 40 I was already got a diploma. I got already graduation. 40 or 41, I don't remember. Maybe 41.
Was the treatment of the Jews different by the Russians? Or
If what, please?
did the Russians treat the Jews differently than they did the non-Jews?
Well, at that time they were okay, and many Jews also cooperated because many of them were communists. I was not, so therefore they didn't give me stipendium. I was apolitical. I made a lot of sport always, you know, physical, ski, basketball, so this, when I was free, except of studying. I didn't mix much in politics, but the Russians, they told me to be apolitical is a politic. It's a bad politic for them, like a fascist. So they didn't give me a stipendium. Therefore, my colleagues, they told them.
You were living in a student house, not with your mother?
Yeah, student house.
Where was your mother living?
I went from Vilnius to Lemberg. My mother stayed in Vilnius.
And how about your brother? Where was he living at that
He
time?
was in Vilnius too.
What was he doing?
He was, he finished the school and was working.
How far was Lemberg from Vilnius?
Oh, far, the whole length of Poland, about 1,000 kilometers.
But it was still under Russian control?
Lithuania, at that time, was under Russian. It's a Lithuanian Socialistic Republic. And there was Ukrainian Socialistic Republic, where I was. Okay, it's practical was Soviet Russia.
So what did you do when you finished school?
They made of me specialist in 6 weeks, and to be dermatologist and venerologist. I'll tell you why. You know what's venerologist? Venereal disease? Not AIDS. There was no AIDS at that time, but there was syphilis and gonorrhea. They needed a doctor in the mountains. It's Carpat Mountains on the south. Because there was a place, quite a big place, there was endemic syphilis. It means inborn syphilis, from generations, from father to son. This syphilis, you know syphilis, yes? Was very interesting, but they needed doctors there. So I went a specialist. And because in Russia you cannot survive on one job, so I did 2 jobs, and then 1.5 because it was limited. The second job was general practitioner. So I was at first I was in the hospital, special, in a little bigger place, and then they decided I am too young, they sent me in the mountains, where I could move on ski in winter. There was no communication or walking.
Was there any thought of leaving at that time? Did you have any thoughts of leaving at that time?
If what
Did you feel like leaving the country at that time?
to leave, its practice was impossible. They didn't, in Russia you cannot leave. Maybe we didn't think much about it. Really, we didn't think about it to go. Not Israel still was for me terra ignota. It's an unknown land, because I saw maybe in cinema this Jewish policeman Gafir, you call it, in English time, that they were working for British. Very romantic on the horses and so, with uniform, that was all. But I did have colleagues, Zionists, many of them. And some of them, they went. When I was accepted to medicine, and they were not, at least 2 of them who went to Israel, my colleagues. Other, they stayed. We didn't, the Jews didn't think that it will be so bad.
So
They knew it will be bad, but
where were you in the Carpathians? What was the name of the town? About how large of a town was it?
50,000 maybe.
Did it have a Jewish population as well?
Yeah, there was about, I think, 3,000 Jews. Many. And when the Germans came, that was very bad. There was execution of the half.
When did they come?
40, was it 42?
About what month?
I think somehow it was in the autumn. Just when the war started with Russian German, I think it was autumn.
What was your first contact with the Germans?
At first, I was there in Ukraine, where I was working, as I told you. At first, they came Hungarian army, was not so bad, because they were together with Germans. then there came also Austrian police. And the boss of police probably was okay. But then came the Germans. We heard already about the day during these mass executions. And one night, one morning, they came and they took all the Jews whom they could catch. I think it was, I don't remember, I think about 3,000 and something, and they took about 2,000 Jews and they shoot them all. The Ukrainians, they made, how do you say, digged the holes in somewhere on the hill, and whom they caught, they shot them on the place.
Where were you?
Somehow they didn't. Somehow I was at the moment invisible.
Where were you living at that time? Did you have a house or lived with other
Yeah.
people?
We were in Kosovo. There.
Who were you living with?
Well, there were some Russian engineers. 2 engineers, they invited us, very nice people. And then they came to German and they made this the first time. It took 24 hours, shooting 24 hours. And somehow the technique was so they came, I saw them, I didn't believe. It was unbelievable. They came, in the morning, came lorries, the trucks, open trucks, and young people, beautiful blonde people. You never will say there are so bad. And they started immediately the Jews did have already signed.
When did you start?
I think, I don't remember exactly, but they had already this star on it.
You were wearing a star?
Yes, David. It's not a star, really.
What was it?
It is David shield. It's a David shield. It's not a star. It's false name, misnomer. Because David, when he went against Goliath, he did have shield, no? To defend himself. Okay, so whom they caught, they looked, they knew plus minus where the Jews were living, and he came in, this assessment, SS, yeah, with a pistol, 2 pistols, and all Jews. There were about, in the room like this, maybe there were 15, because we went all Jews a little so on the side we thought maybe they will not find us, and there was a chest, copper chest, and somehow someone took me and drove me behind the chest because he was afraid. He was hidden, that the assessment will see me take and then see him. So by chance, I remained there behind this chest. There was another door on the other room. I knew this assessment that something is with arithmetic, not exactly that there were 12 and then he found only 10. He started to look, but then he resigned, he went. So this was the first
So what
first
happened?
date with the Nazis.
What happened when they left then?
When they finished 24 hours, there came announcement of such a announcement of the town that all Jews who stay alive can get out. The action is finished. The Jews went out.
You left.
And I went out too.
Where did you go?
I met my wife. She somehow also stayed alive.
What's her name? Your
Yes.
wife's name?
Yeah, her name is Stefania.
She was also Jewish,
Yes.
and she was also hiding in the same area? She was in the same area?
Yes, she was, but somewhere other place.
How did you meet her?
Before, in this hospital, she was a nurse and she was a secretary in this hospital where I worked for venerische veneric diseases. She was working there. We were young.
How were you treating the people?
How I was?
Wasn't that before antibiotics? What did you do to treat the people?
What treatment we gave them? Oh, there was so-called salvarsan, intravenous. There were no penicillin, no antibiotics. You know, antibiotics, they came at 44, 45. Oh, this was 41, 42. But there was this salvarsan, intravenous, that was found out from Ehrlich. Ehrlich was a German Jew, no? And Hato was a Japanese. Ehrlich Hato, they found this very effective. And intramuscular, with a big needle, we injected bismuth. Bismuth is metal. It was very effective, but it didn't cure. Only put on latent form. But it was very effective.
And you treated everybody? Jews and non-Jews as well?
Mostly non-Jews. Where there was syphilis, well, gonorrhea, there's also Jews it had. But mostly the syphilis, they had the local people. They were the mountaineers, mountain people, Ukrainians. And they had this inborn syphilis. Oh, sure, we could. And then there came expedition from Odessa or Kharkov, I don't remember. Professors, doctors, you know, Russian medicine for general population was very, very good. They came, the whole expedition, university came to me in a small place. And we called all people and they examined blood for reaction. Yeah? Wassermann, Kahn reaction, there was a specific reaction, no? And who was positive, they cured. They treated them. And I was the one who was on the place. So I could direct them, and it was good for them, good for me too. There was very interesting people. They came, the professor, they came with torn tennis shoes that the toes were outside. So bad was. So poor were there, in Russia. The doctors they earned much less than in the United States now.
Did your patients change when the Germans came in? Were you allowed to treat non-Jews as well?
No, there was no question about, because we were constantly in hiding. So I didn't do. And then later on, no. They knew that I am a doctor somehow. I thought maybe it will be protected, but not much. Once maybe it worked that I could get out of bad situation. But really not.
Right, so
I stopped no medical
when did you stop?
profession.
When did you stop
When the
practicing?
Germans came,
Which was in 42?
yes.
Besides the star, besides the Shield of David, what other rules were there?
What
What other rules at that time? In addition to wearing the Shield of David, what else?
At the beginning, they didn't stay on place. They came, made executions, went away, and then were the Ukrainians. Ukrainians are very bad, and we had already to wear this star, and any day we were expecting that they can come back. They really came back at that time. I think they were 24 hours. And I think they came next day back. I don't remember exactly. Because there was a Ukrainian lady who wanted to, they told me that the worst Jews are still living. So they came back, I think, so extra. But there remain about 1,000 maybe. And then we escaped from there.
So let's back up with your wife. When did you marry?
By the Russians, 42, 41, 41 I think. 41 or 42.
Was it, what time of year?
I think autumn.
You had a Russian ceremony or you had a Jewish ceremony?
No, we came to the office and there was the picture of Stalin, and there was an officer and he wrote down our names. That was all. And there was one of the witnesses, our friend, the Russian engineer. That was all.
Were you still in contact with your mother and your brother at this time?
When came the Germans? No more, no. No more, no brother, no more. No, they were also occupied by Germans.
So you had no more contact with them?
No, we didn't know anything. Till the end of the war, I didn't know anything. My mother survived, my brother did not.
So after the 24 hours, what happened then? Did you try to, did you leave at that time or what?
After these executions were there. Well, how it was? No, we didn't stay much there. We escaped.
How did you escape?
The father of my wife was on this primary German side. It means before the war started between Russia and Germans, they were on the German side. And somehow we thought that maybe we'll be safer there, but because on the, where we were, this so-called eastern side of Poland, they were immediately condemned to death. Every Jew. And when we came there later on, if they knew that we are from east, they finished us. So we had to not to let them know. But somehow the father sent a lorry, it was winter, and we went with the lorry of other side. It's somewhere Krakow, Rzeszów.
What was the name of the town?
Rzeszów. And we stayed there in ghetto several days. And then it was too dangerous because if they knew that we are from east, they would finish us. So we went to some small place, some village, and stayed there for a time. And there were all, every day, came Gestapo and the SS and they shoot Jews on the street at random. Yeah. So there was very bad. We tried to get contact with partisans. We could not. So we stayed until they concentrated all Jews back to Rzeszów. It means from all these villages, they concentrated them in bigger place, so they could move them easier to concentration, to the death camps. So we came back to Rzeszów.
You came back on your own?
No, the Germans, they organized it. All Jews have to go. I don't know what carriages or with horses and so. All Jews were transported, organized, and they put in ghetto there.
So you were taken by wagon? You were taken?
I think so, something like this. Yes.
You were taken with your wife?
Yes. And there were the parents of her they stayed in Rzeszów. So we were together, and then every day they made selection, and then one day they took the mother away, and then the father still was there, and then we escaped.
What was the living conditions like there?
It's concentration camp, nothing to eat and work. They took us for working outside of ghetto.
What kind of work were you doing?
At that time we were working in the garden, a park, cleaning the park, digging the earth, and then at time we were also working in how do you say to break the rocks but it was before. It was before we came to Rzeszów.
Where was that?
In this village.
What was the name of the village?
Rzeszów. It's very difficult. Name very difficult. Many consonants together as Polish languages. And okay, so they were there.
Did they know you were a doctor?
It was written somewhere on my identity card.
Your identity card was what?
For Jews, they did have some kind of identity card. It was written the time doctor. And somehow it saved the life of my wife for one day, because she was in a death camp. They took all young women, and she went there. And there was written she is the wife of a doctor. I don't know how it was. And she showed this to the policeman, and the policeman was one of the Estonia, you know, from Estonia, Latvia, Estonia, Baltic states. They were very bad, were worse than Germans. But he was probably analphabet. So she showed him, and he understood that this is a pass, and they let her go. So all girls, there were about maybe 50, 60 or something, they were shot dead, and she was the only one who he just went out, walked out.
When was that? When was that?
It was not far from Rzeszów.
And when?
It was some kind of airport.
When did your wife get separated from you?
Then when we escaped from ghetto.
So this happened before you left the ghetto, that your wife had been taken?
She was taken only for one day.
When was that? About what year?
42 should be.
Still was it in the winter or spring?
It was somehow end of summer, I think.
You were living with who? Who were you living with at that time?
In ghetto.
What kind of accommodations?
There were 3 or 4 families in this space like this. Separate, so bed and so all together. Very bad.
What were you doing for food?
I won't tell you. I don't know. when we were still there in Ukraine, so my wife she sold a ring or something. I think some Hungarian officer, and we got some food. And in ghetto, I'll tell you exactly, it was so minimum, but it really was, I don't know how did we get, probably when we went out. So we tried to bring some food. But if they found, they shot us. If they, by entrance, by ghetto, if they found food, they shot the Jews on the place. But still, you know, with Polish people, made some kind of exchange. I know we gave them clothes or something, you know, was or what we had. And they got some food.
Was there any medical care available inside the ghetto?
I don't remember. I don't remember there was any medical care there.
Were you sick at any time?
I personally was not sick, and my wife also not. And it was a wonder that the people, before they get out, they at minimum maybe that helped them. But there was not a extreme hunger. It was a hunger, yes, because I have a lot of respect for bread or any small piece of bread, yes, because it was difficult to get. But the people not yet dying of hunger in this ghetto. Maybe some of them, maybe some.
Was there any Jewish committee active in the ghetto?
Oh, there was very bad. There was Judenrat, and they must cooperate with Germans. And there was Jewish police also.
What did they do?
Well, they looked for order. What the Germans told, they bring so many Jews, they brought them. They do everything what the Germans told them. You know probably the problem, no?
Who was on the committee? How were they chosen?
I don't know. I was not a local man. I was, because I came from Vilna. This was my place, no? And this was the town of my wife, and I didn't know the people at all. So I don't know who was there. I don't remember. But they were cooperating and doing everything what the Germans told them. They told them to bring so much money or so much precious things. Later on there was no more, furs and so, and then they told them to bring so many thousands of Jews, and they forward, and then they disappeared somewhere in Treblinka, Auschwitz, somewhere. Never came back. And they made selection. So at first they took the mother of my wife. We tried to do of her a little younger, but so a little cosmetics, but they didn't help. And the father still was there. And we left before the father.
How is it that you came to leave?
How we left? I don't know, there was a wonder. It came a young woman, quite beautiful one, blonde, not very, a little so, not overweight, but a little so, Rubens type, but beautiful woman. And we didn't know, is she Polish or is she good-looking Jewish? But at that time, there was always talking about who is good-looking, who is bad-looking. I was bad-looking.
Why?
It means bad-looking is like Jewish. Good-looking is like Goy. Well, she was very good-looking. She was blonde, blue eyes, everything. And she came there to the park. And we were just at the side. My wife was doing something, and me. And she told us Polish, what are you doing here? So I told her, well, you see what we're doing here. But you know that in some weeks, maybe in 2 weeks, the ghetto will be liquidated. Everyone will be shot or taken away. Okay, we know about it. And she told that she wanted to take us out. So straight, we didn't know her. And she came. Somehow she told us how to get false documents for money. And we get her some money. I got documents that were so bad that we took the names and what the places were born and so particulars, and we throw them away because everyone could see that it's the pages were turned out and so on. So we are practically without any papers. Just we dressed elegant on, the best suit. The man who worked in the park, a Polish man, he was okay, he will let us change the dress in his house.
Where did you get the clothes?
We brought from ghetto to the, when you were to work, we put them somewhere, so around. And then we changed and get out from this park, straight out. Didn't go back, didn't go back. And she took us, this girl, young woman, she took us to her room. She was in some Polish house, and they didn't know we are Jewish. I was not good looking, but still probably my behavior was okay.
We'll stop here to change the tape.
Hmm?
We're going to stop now
All
to
right.
change the tape.
All right.
We were in the park. We're talking about when you left the park
Yeah.
for the woman's house.
Mhm.
We're continuing with the interview of Robert Weiss. We were talking about when you left with the woman from the park in an attempt to escape. Do you
Yeah.
remember what her name was?
Stefania,
Her name was Stefania, like your wife?
yes. And we went there overnight. She had a small room. We were all three together. And then we went to railway station. We bought the tickets. And one of the directors of this park discovered us. He saw us, a Polishman, but he didn't tell anything. I don't know what happened. Maybe he was not sure yet because we were completely changed. But probably he recognized, but he didn't tell. So he was okay. If he told, so we immediately are finished. No? So we went by train to high mountains. Maybe you know the place, Zakopane. It's a winter sport place, very, very famous in Poland, where all these Olympic winter sport games are there. And we stayed there, no papers, but pretended that I am a Polish officer and I was politically a little engaged, so because we were living in with Polish family. We took a room, paid for that. And this young lady, she accommodated us and she went back. Never saw her back. Don't know who she was she Polish, or was she Jewish, being on as Polish one. And she didn't demand anything for us, no money, nothing. And on our way in Krakow, we went through Krakow. Krakow is a big place. Rzeszów, Krakow, and then Zakopane. We saw in the droshka, you know, this diligence, a kind of diligence for people with horses, going in big cities. How it's called? A diligence? I don't know. A kind of a horse driven for passenger. Anyway, there were the people who sold us the false paper, and we saw them in Krakow. That's all we saw. So they were completely drunk. They did have money, so they amused themselves. So that was episode, but nothing. They didn't see us, and we stayed here in Zakopane there. And there we didn't stay long.
About how long?
I think about 2 weeks maybe.
And what did you do for the money to pay them? How did you get that?
We did have some money,
Was hidden?
some minimum, yeah. And then my wife was very cute, and this, she was looking better than me. She was good looking. Really, she was not. No problem was she was suspected to be. How did she look? She was good looking. So she organized somehow that she met a Polish, I think, policeman or clerk, and he wanted to do flirt with her. You know, she was a young woman, and she made with him. He was somehow bound to Polish police. She told him that she is married, but I'm the husband, yes, that I'm a drunkard and I play cards and she can go. So he told her, we'll send him to Germany as a Polish worker. You know, each Polish worker is a forced worker, yes? They can take with police. In German time, when the Germans were there, Nazis, the Polish people they could take anyone, young man, and send him to Germany. It was not so bad, not for death camps. So they took me. It means I had to go to this so-called Arbeitsamt, how it is, workers' office, and they asked me who I am, how old I am, so and so and so, and they sent me to Germany.
Did they give you papers?
They gave me papers.
Did they give
What
you?
I told them, they gave me.
And did they give you another name?
Yes.
What name was that?
Leon Wiatr.
Where did it say you were from?
I told them I was from some small place in south of Poland. And they took me. I went through all this business. I am not circumcised.
You are not.
That saved me. So I went through all this. They make doctor's examination. No? That was my luck. My mother was very clever. She didn't let me do. The brother was circumcised, and he was lost. So I could go through. And so I went. How did they send me? It was such a big camp for Polish workers. I was already a Polish worker, not Jewish. And we had to wear P. Not star, but P, a small size. P Russians had also there something. Okay, it doesn't disturb me much because I was very satisfied because it was much safer in Germany for me than in Poland, because the Polish people, they recognize Jews much better. Because there are many German people who never saw a Jew. And like they made propaganda, you know, that we have horns or we look like rats or something. I didn't look so bad. Yeah? So, so I felt much better there.
What color was your hair?
Oh, what?
What color was your hair?
Black. Okay, so I went.
Where in Germany were you?
They sent me to not far from Magdeburg. It's East Germany, Saxon. It's the country called Saxon. Germany is divided many countries. Yeah? And there, from Magdeburg, they took me for other small place into the, and there I was waiting in this, know how they say, office for work. I don't know how you call it here, Arbeitsamt.
What
you know
is it?
German? You know German?
No, what is it in German?
You should know German, you know, it's better for your profession. No, that's okay.
What was the word in German? What was the word of the office in German? How was it called in German?
Arbeitsamt. Arbeit is work. Amt is office. So work office, same. There was a clerk, a woman, and she made this job when the Germans didn't have enough workers. Especially, I went as a peasant worker. You know, landwirtschaftliche Arbeit, it means agricultural worker. They told me, you look like a clerk. You don't look like. Well, I laughed. Nothing was not serious, but I didn't believe that I am a agricultural worker. You know. Anyway, they brought me to this amt, to this office, and then came my future boss, fat man, Mr. Kilmay, and I had to go to Bauer, it means to the peasants, because they need it. It was quite a heavy work, you know, agricultural work. It means you have to do what is to do there. But he came and he asked if she has somebody, because he needs for his mill. I said, no, yes, here is one, he's sitting here. I was very lean, so not a not very big hero, but he took me. He needed somebody to, for taking the weights, it means, no, how the floor, to take the floor in the sacks, yes, to work. Sackträger is called, somebody who is a heavy work. It was, in kilograms, it was 75 kilograms, it's about 160 pounds, and was 100 kilo, which is about 220 pounds. You have to take on your back. I was a sportsman, everything, but I never did that. And you have to know to do that. So, okay, they took me, I deteriorated my back at the beginning because they didn't show me how to do that.
When
okay,
was this? When was this about?
Oh, that's 42. Somehow mid-year 42, I was 2.5 years till 45. It was water and motor, engine engine and water with a big wheel, water wheel. There was a river, a stream, and this was one energy supply, and then a motor. And he was a boss, it was a mill. I worked there.
Where did you live?
Special to take on the back, the sacks on the
And
back.
where did you live when you were there?
In the mill, not in the camp, in the mill. I did have a very small room, maybe a little bit bigger than your bathroom, maybe.
How many other people were living at the mill?
Only me. Then later came another one. At the end, more. But I was the only one, because it was a small mill, small mill. So I was mostly for that. And slowly, you know, already Jewish are the Jewish. So I learned a little to operate the mill. So I was already, I could operate the mill. And then I made a driver license. He did have a kind of lorry or truck, 1 ton, I think, or 1.5, for a floor. So usually he was a driver and I was a worker, and then he let me alone go. So, well, I did have, I don't know where my papers are. I did have papers with Hakenkreuz, everything. Written my name and everything. So I did have papers.
What happened to your wife after you left?
That's another story. She, after she let me go, she worked there in officers' casino. You know what is casino? Is a kind of a guest house for high officers, German. And she was a waitress. She looked okay also. She was later on even chief waitress. But she also felt not very secure there because of Polish people and so. And somehow she went also. She had to go to Vienna. No, to München, Monachium. You know Monachium, Germany? Bayern. They sent her also as a worker.
Were you in touch with her at all during the war?
As brother and sister. We were in touch in correspondence.
You could write
Not
letters?
that far away. Yes, and she stayed there, but she didn't go to München, Bayer. Somebody made a trick there. On the way, she stepped down and she went to Vienna. She wanted to go to Vienna better. She felt already more secure there. And she stayed in Vienna the same time till the end of the war. That's it. She worked as somebody to help at home, and there was a doctor. She was also assistant for him, so everything. Mädchen für alles. It's a girl for everything.
When you were in the camp and you had a P on, a uniform, did you have a uniform with
I
you?
was not in camp in Germany. I was living in the mill. But I did have this sign, but mostly I didn't wear it. And she didn't wear it at all, never. We shouldn't go probably to cinema and so thing with this. But I don't think that I wore much. Sometimes yes, and no. They were not looking so much about it.
Were you hearing any news of what was happening in the war?
We were already in this stage we left, that we knew what will happen. Only it happened exactly what we knew it will happen. But I could read only German newspapers. I didn't know German, by the way, no word. It was good for me. I didn't know Jewish and not German. I learned there. Learned quite good. 2.5 years. Reading the papers, German papers. So they didn't write about this all the death camps. Yeah, they didn't write directly.
How about the progress of the war? Were you hearing news?
Oh yes, the German, when they were Stalingrad, they were winning, and then they were getting back. We knew it.
And
Yes.
what kind of man was the head of the mill?
He was a Nazi. He was a fat man. He was Nazi, as many of them. Probably one of the factors he was in a party was for business, probably. For business, to make better business. He never talked with me about Jews. I was a Polish. But he was talking against Polish people, and I was very amused. Every time he cursed Polish people, I was very amused. And he did that. He told that the Polish have started the war. Yeah, the Polish have started the war. And all the things, how Polish are primitive, and that they use wooden nails and all kind of primitive things. And I was very much amused with him. But he was not directly, he didn't know, he never mentioned Jews. The first time he mentioned Jews, it was when the Russians came. The Russians liberated us. We were working and they came in, 3 of them.
Tell me what happened.
Panzer people.
When was that? When was that?
May.
Of what
45.
year? And what happened exactly?
Already all Germans, they knew that the Russians are around. And sometimes there was little shooting, but really not. And he told me, don't be so happy because they will take you to military service, he told me. I had a little common sense, a sense of humor. I told him, first of all, where from you know that I'm happy that they will take me to, I am happy or not. Second, they will not take me to military because they don't believe. They take only their people, not the people who are Polish people. Okay, so he was not sure, completely sure. They tried, when I was there, they tried, because they thought, they did have suspicion that I am come from some not very primitive people. Yeah? They thought, oh, the Leon, he knows everything, and so I could speak German. I learned very quickly, and and he comes from the better part of Poland. This Zakopane, because Zakopane it was the place where the border of Austria, Russia, and Germany. It's called the corner of 3 kings. So he told me, Leo, my name was Leon. He knows everything, and so once he breaks his leg, and I couldn't say anything, but he fell. He was very fat. He fell from the elevator. There was a primitive elevator, like a chair going on transmission, and he fell down. And the doctor told him that he has spray. So I couldn't, so I don't know why I did that. I told him, let's make your X-ray, you must have fractures your leg. He went, it was very bad fracture. So he knew that, Leon, he knows everything. But he didn't know. He didn't know much about me. Okay, so.
Were there any other incidents when
Excuse me?
Were there any other times when your medical knowledge could have been used that you didn't use it?
No, I don't think so. That was the only ones I told him. I told him, you know, I saw many workers, you must have broken leg. And he did have, sure, I know that. And other, okay, that was. When the Russian came, for me it was, they saved me, yeah? They liberated me. There's nothing to say. But I didn't tell them the truth. I was afraid. I didn't tell the Russians that I'm Jew, because they're sure they will think I am a spy. How is possible that Jew survives with these conditions? There was nobody around like me. So I don't tell. I persisted on my name, and that's it. And it was very good. But I could speak Russian. They came, we were working, you know, Germans are the Germans. We worked in the last moment, putting wood, saw in order outside, and there came 3 Russians from Panzer Commando. We gave to him, and there were 2 words they say, chassé et vodka. It means the watch they want, and vodka, you know what it is. So our watch, I don't know, did they take from him? I was with him, and he says, vodka, Leon. And then they jumped on me, and they thought maybe I'm German. I told them, take it easy, and you want to have alcohol, you go in there in the underground in his house. And when you are in good relations with me, I will invite you. So they were already, I spoke Russian with them. So they saved me.
So where?
So it was the end of direct danger. Every day I had to play my role.
So where did you go from there?
Then we met in Krakow, am I right? And I tell you true, I didn't want to go back to be a Jew. It was a paradox. I saw so many bad things. I didn't want. You want to stay on the same papers. I never, no diploma of medicine, nothing. I didn't want. I had a very bad experience.
What was that?
The experience, what you have. But then there was some doctor, the others, and they told me about Palestine. So I told them, or I stay as a non-Jewish, or when we go somewhere, so we go there. Because I'm not ready to go to any other countries where non-Jewish people are living. I don't trust anybody. It's a little paranoia, you know. We have all of us, mostly. We don't trust around people. Till today. There is a reason I wouldn't stay here. I cannot stay. I can visit and so. It's fun. Very good country and very nice people, but still it's not possible for me. Okay, then they made on me a little propaganda. They worked on me on this Zionism. I thought, okay, when I stay among Jews, maybe it's a solution for me.
Did you ever go back to your hometown?
Never. I don't want. It's a very beautiful place, but too many cemeteries, you know, too many people. My brother was killed there, and many friends and families. There were many Jews in Vilnius, There were many Jews, I think about 10% minimum, or even 30%. There was a big community, many workers. You never saw the Jews working like that. All kind of professions, you know, carpenters and iron and tailors, all these Jews, very poor Jews. Some of them, they were also rich or good situated, but many, nobody saw. The people think in general the Jews, all of Jews, there are no poor Jews, only rich ones.
How did you get back in touch with your mother?
Oh, that was. We were on the way to Israel. Illegal. It was immigration illegal. We went out of Poland as Greeks. Always a story. Greeks, that we go from concentration camps back to Greece. And we talk Greek, but we didn't know Greek. But the Polish didn't know Greek too. But I saw they said, they are the Jews from Warsaw, they say, the policemen. But they were interested we go out. They didn't like us. But didn't do any difficulties. The Russians had at that time politics against England. They want to England did have Palestine, yes, as a protectorate. And they wanted England out. It was, you know, that in 48, they were the first who were for Jewish state, the Soviets, because they wanted the English to go out. So they looked and there's some Jews they were in military service, officers, they knew or not. Only if somebody was in the Russian army, if they called him, then he was very bad. It's a death penalty. But so Jews.
How did you get the papers?
No papers.
How did you get the...
Smuggled through all borders. Polish, Czechish, Hungarian. We stayed quite a long time in Hungary waiting. And then from Hungary we went to Austria. From Austria we went to Italy. In Italy we were about 1 year, until the British army, the Jewish brigade, you know, Jewish brigade, they were served for Great Britain in the war from Israel, from Palestine. They organized this illegal immigration. They took us on the ship in La Spezia in Italy. I was a doctor. There was many pregnant women, maybe 25 or something. They took me as a doctor and my family and my wife and my mother. You asking about my mother? My mother, I didn't know anything about my mother. But in Hungary, I met some friends, we say, from the same sport club where I was. And he told me that he saw how they took my brother to death. It was in Estland, there, in Baltic, one of the Baltic, Estonia. There is Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia. And there was the main camp, death camp, was in Estonia. And he also knew that my mother survived. How? And also the sister of hers. So my wife came back from Hungary, all the way back, also illegal, as a Yugoslavian partisan. I don't know. They all were all kind of tricks there were, because the Russians would ask what is she doing, and she took her out of Poland, and she brought her to Hungary. My mother was at the time already old woman.
How had she survived?
as Armenian. Armenian. You know Armenia? Armenian? At first, we did have a girl who worked with my mother. She helped my mother at home. She was a white Russian, you know, white Russian, the Ukrainians, white Russian. She was a very good girl, and she loved my mother. She took her for a time, and at first, she was hidden by the, you know, she did have these pianos. The man who tunes the pianos, a Polish man. He was a good friend, and he hid her in his house for some time. And then she went to this girl somewhere in the country. And how did she get this Armenian paper? I never knew. Somehow. And she was Armenian. She survived.
Where were you in Hungary?
Sambate, it says you something. Sambate is a place, it's far from Budapest. We were in Budapest too, only through. It's a university city. We were several months there until we could go through the border, over the border to Austria. You had to go by foot through Alps, mountains, Alps, high mountains. My mother was not young. So we went through.
What organization helped you? The Jewish Brigade helped you? Did they tell you the route?
The Jewish Brigade organized our transport from Italy to the sea, to the ship. And then on the ship also they were active.
Who helped you leave Krakow?
I don't know exactly. There was a Jewish organization. There was a group of people. I think that my wife, she was a Zionist once. I was not. I didn't know anything, so I was going there. I think she was one of the organizers.
Did you know about how long the journey would take? Before
We
you
didn't know how long, but we knew that it's only like walking through the whole half world. And the stop here and there, we knew that it will take time because there was always illegal. And they caught us in Italy. We were in not far, Milano, you know Milano? But there was Tradate, you don't know, it's a small place. We were waiting. In Milano we were about 11 months. Then we were about 1 month in this Tradate, which is about 200 kilometers, I think, south. And then the Jewish Brigade, they came as British army with trucks, with everything, motorcycles made. So a little inscenization, and they put us on the lorries as a transport. So nobody stopped us until they got new, and they told Italians that the Spanish fascists are running away, and they have to catch us. And they caught us, Italians. And they looked, you have tattoo here or something like that. Later on, they knew that British cheated, because the British, they were not occupying Italy, but they were already in good relations, but they were still in Italy. Therefore, the British Jewish Brigade was also here. So they caught us, and the whole our history is really the history of no, how it is called, Exodus. But Exodus, you read probably, maybe once, of Uris. The whole history is in Cyprus. But in reality, we were all these people, and they were in La Spezia, not in Cyprus. The whole business with Karol Lasky, English people, there was it was a military. It was a English military base in south of Italy. So, and
How long
then
were
we
you
came
there?
to Israel.
How long were you there for in Italy?
They hold us about 8 weeks. There were hunger strike, all business. In Israel is very famous. And I was a doctor of one ship, and then then at the end they legalized us, the English. They took the quote, you know, there was quote for 2,000 people, I think, per month. So they took from others, and we came into Israel already legal. And they demanded 2 ships. So I was a doctor of 2 ships. And we came to Haifa, Ben Gurion, greeted us. We came to Israel.
About how many were traveling with you from Poland? How large was the group?
It was for a time, I think about maybe 120 people, something like this. But then it was dispersed somehow. Part went somewhere, I don't know exactly. But we were in the Hungary, this was a student house. It was our camp. I think there were about 50, 60 people.
When you were working as a doctor in the camp as well? What kinds of things were you seeing?
Yes, I was working. Especially in Austria. And there was a very nice nurse, very beautiful. And she told me if I want to go quickly to Palestine, I have to say that I am Italian. I told her, I don't know any word Italian. My mother knew only to say poco, something like this. They told me, you don't need to talk about. You have only to look on you, you are Italian. And it was, so we told we are Italian. And so we went from there to Italy. In Italy, we waited 1 year until they took us to Israel.
What were you
But
doing?
in good conditions. Well, camp. Genova, you know Genova? Genova, Milano, Genova. We were in Genova.
You were living in a camp there?
It was a palace of some Italian men. A big house. A house. But it was organized as camp, primitive, but the house was beautiful.
The Zionists were the organizers?
Yes, and joined, sent us packages. So was already, there was a woman, there was births of children born, and so I was working also in the hospital in Genoa. I had some professor. I was gynecologist because I went just to this clinic. So for 1 year. I later used a little my knowledge in Israel as gynecologist when I came. So it was not bad. We, after all what we went through, was wonderful. There was not much food and so, no, not very convenient, but we were human. And the Italians was the first nation that were human to us. Therefore, we have all sentiments to Italians because they were okay.
So where did you arrive to in Israel?
In May 16 May 45.
You arrived in Israel?
46.
And did you practice as a doctor in Israel then?
Not immediately. It was very difficult. They sent me somewhere. I didn't have no house and no job. So they always tell me to take first the job and then the house, and then they say no. You have to at first the house, then you get the job. So for a time, I was a volunteer in the hospital, Afula. You know Israel? Have you been once in Israel? You know Afula? Have you heard about? Yeah, Afula, Emek HaYarden, Tiberias. You know, it's between Tiberias and Beit Shan. I was in the hospital, a volunteer. They didn't pay me anything for half a year. And then I get a job for 2 hours daily in a place. If you come to Israel, it's a very beautiful place, but very primitive and very hot. Also in Emek HaYarden. Ashdod Yaakov, Kibbutz Terayodon. It's a region of Tiberias, about 8 to 10 miles away, more to the south. It's depression already, under the level of the sea. Jordan River, Jordan Valley. I was there about 1 year, or 1.5 years. And then I was other hospitals.
And then after a while so did you make your living as a doctor the rest of your life?
Yes,
Did you have children after the war?
yes, I have 2 sons.
What are their names?
Daniel and Michael.
And where do they live?
The one is here, a plastic surgeon, and Michael is in Miami, and he works also in Israel. He has a job, hotel administration in Israel and the United States, so he is partially here and there.
How about grandchildren? Do you have any grandchildren?
Yes, there are 3 of them.
What are their names?
Their name is Uri, Boaz, and Eli.
Did you practice Judaism after the war?
If I practice
Judaism.
Judaism, no. Hebraism.
What's the difference?
Oh, is he Hebrew? Hebrew is not Jewish. Well, that's fair. It's in you learn the Hebrew language. I didn't know Aleph Bet when I came to Israel. I didn't know Jewish. I came straight there was no state. There was still English.
Did you observe any holidays with your children?
No.
Did you?
Not. I go over Yom Kippur to listen for Kol Nidra, and that's most. I'm also sometimes not here. I'm going a little around the world.
Did you have your sons circumcised when they were born?
Yes, both houses.
Did you have it done ritually? Ritually or medically? Did they have
No, medical.
They did not have a bris.
Yes,
They had
circumcised.
But did they have a ritual circumcision?
What is that?
Did they do the Jewish rite of circumcision?
Rabbi. No, it was doctors. One they made, I think after 8 days something, but one day, next day after the birth.
Where were they born?
Afula.
They were born
one Afula, one Tiberias.
both in Israel.
Yeah.
Is there anything about your experience during the war that I have not asked you that you'd like to include?
What didn't we speak about?
Yes.
I think plus minus it is.
Is there any other
The
experience that you'd like to tell me about on the?
I think the main thing I told you. The one thing was that I didn't want to get back to be Jewish. But now I'm feeling well. But I'm feeling well only in Israel, nowhere. Even where we have so many problems there. I'm not sure, not that I am afraid personally, but I don't know. It's a kind of disease, mental disease. the people who went through, not all of them.
If you could leave a message to people about the Holocaust who were not able to talk to anybody who ever lived through it, what would you tell them?
I would ask them what did they learn, if they know about Holocaust. And probably they didn't learn anything, most people.
What should they
I
learn?
think if they remember it and they remind, I'm not sure. You know, there were, what I want to tell you, maybe it is interesting. Many years we didn't speak with our children about Holocaust. Nothing. I don't know, probably it was so inhuman, how do they say, unhuman. The whole, we didn't want to talk about it. It's like, not ashamed of this, but something we thought is better they don't know. But then in the school, in Israel, the teacher told them about it, and they came home, what they're talking about, and then I had to tell them. I think that's maybe special, what is to say. And about the people, so we are a little, how do you say, mentally we are bad with our background. We're not sure. And the reason, and the other paradox is, when I am in Israel, I am a goy. There. I am a goy. I don't believe, I don't go to those synagogues, so maybe only for Yom Kippur. I speak Hebrew also. When I am somewhere outside, I feel Jewish. It is disturbing me. It's
Why?
disturbing me.
Why?
Because in Israel, I don't feel it. In Israel, we are like goyim here, there. It's a paradox.
How about your children? Did they feel Jewish?
Oh yeah, sure. We're all feeling Jewish. We are Jewish.
I want to thank you very much for sharing your story.
Thank you. Okay, can take it down.
This has been Gloria May interviewing Robert Weiss about his experience as a survivor of the Nazi Holocaust. This interview will be included as a valuable contribution to the Oral History Library of the Holocaust Documentation and Education Center, Incorporated.